This video is part one of my interview with David Lorenzo Glover, the controversial counselor, regarding his latest book, No Friday Foolishness. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions. And as you can see, once again, I have a guest. David Lorenzo Glover, the controversial counselor, is back. And we're going to talk about a couple things here. We're going to start with, we're going to focus on your new book.
All right.
And and we'll see wherever else the discussion goes. Um, I'm going to leave my previous interviews with David down in the description box below, so you could see what we talked about before. But before we jump into um, No Friday Foolishness, David, tell us what you've been doing. You've been pretty busy. You and Herb.
Yeah, I've been still maintaining my job as the department chair at Golden Ring Middle School, so that's been consuming a lot of my times. But then on Monday nights, I go have Facebook Live discussions, and so far this series, I've been bringing in one of my buddies from Niagara Falls, Herbert Lewis, kind of like co-partnering with me. So he's been choosing the topic areas and the talking points, and we just trying to deliver, those day-to-day messages or issues that kind of impact our communities.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so you guys have become like Kobe and Shaq, and combined with the topics you present on your Facebook timeline, you guys get quite a bit of reaction from your network.
Yeah, and it depends. Certain subjects kind of push people buttons more. So it depends on what the topic areas are, and because people are kind of funny how they what they respond to or not.
hmm hmm Hold on one second, David. Let me put that back there. Okay. Um, Yeah. So you're a Western New Yorker. Herb's a Western New Yorker. I'm a Western New Yorker. So this is kind of cool. All of us are kind of getting in the digital space now. What's the name of your channel? You're on the YouTube space now as well.
It's under like controversial counselor, and it's kind of when I set it up, it was like a platform for also for me to deliver my message from my first book, Cocktail Conversations.
Okay. Okay. So people can find you at Controversial Counselor.
Yes.
Okay, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. So one last question about, and once again, shout out to Herb. So you guys are looking to just spark discussions, right? And talk about what men are thinking and those kinds of things, right?
Yeah, that was the main thing. The reason why, you know, actually this month made 5 years that I became an author, and before I had a internet blog talk show. So Herb has been kind of a loyal supporter or participant for these past 5 years, and Herb knows how to kind of get under people's skins. He definitely knows how to push buttons. So it made sense for me to say, hey, I'm gonna bring you in for. First, we started off with him doing a little segment, but now we kind of do it together, like co-hosting the discussion. So he's one that kind of, like I said, like to rub people the wrong way. I don't know if it's more so that they take it the wrong way, or they say just like he's so direct, and I guess her whole point is he really doesn't care what people think. He's going to say what most people may not say, and it doesn't matter if he rubs somebody the wrong way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it definitely sounds like he's well versed in these topics, and I think that to discuss some of these things, yeah, you can't go in with kitty gloves, and you have to be willing to say some things that you know uh, some people in these cases, the ladies, find unpopular.
Yeah,
Um,
he definitely likes to make them uncomfortable, as I say, and that's a part of growth. So the ones that get it, they'll go along and they're fine. But then there's some that, they just they're not ready for it.
mhm, mhm. Okay. Well, let's jump in. So you just published another book.
Hmm.
It's called No Friday Foolishness.
Yes, it is right
Um,
here. No Friday
there it is, No
foolishness.
Friday
Yeah.
Foolishness. So do you want to talk about that? What the premise is, where it came from, and
Well, as far as this, I always make like a lot of parallels to my day-to-day job, my middle school,
hmm
and when I won the 2017 Indie Legacy Award for Author on the Rise, that was in 2017. So, and where as a competitor, to me, winning that award was like winning a championship. It was a great feeling. So, but as time went on, I was like, all right, I can't keep showing up at these different events with the same book. The original came out in 2014, The Cocktail Conversations, and then I did the revise in 2017. So I'm like, I can't rest on my laurels on this award. So I was like, I got to get back and come back with something. But meanwhile, how this book came into existence, because I had a little crew a few years ago, crew of girls that would come in and they stayed in drama. It was always something. And it was one particular Friday, one of the students came in and she came in loud, all worked up. And I'm like, listen, I don't do Friday drama. It's Friday.
hmm
It's about to be the weekend. Like, why you want to stir up drama? And she kind of was like, whatever, Mr. Glover. I said, from this point on, I'm gonna have a national campaign called No Friday Foolishness. And she kind of laughed it off. And then I started hashtagging that every Friday, but I didn't have anything to go with it. Then all of a sudden I started posting little, I don't want to say quotes, like statements or whatever my thought was that during the morning as I get ready for work. And then I start just hashtagging No Friday Foolishness, and then I would have a statement along with it. Well, I did that for about 2 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, and then I just gathered all that information and said, you know what, I'm gonna make this into a book because I wanted something to come back. So I looked at this as more being like a self-help type of reflection book because there's space in the book so that you can kind of write and kind of give your response back to my thoughts on the particular statement that I made.
Okay, okay. So for the audience, you're in education.
Yes.
That's okay. So you're working with middle schoolers, high schoolers, or
Middle schoolers. I have had worked with high schoolers for 8 years. Then I worked in the college setting also for 10 years prior to that. And
okay,
this is my seventh year at doing the middle school level.
okay, okay. So so can you talk about I guess kind of at a high level what some of the situations you captured in the book? Is this are these specific to what the kids are going through? Are these community things or problems that you're seeing in the community, or
It could, it's like some of them, it could be related to kids, but also it's for adults as well. And I'm just going to pick out a random one.
okay?
So, for example, and I just happened to open to this. This was one of the statements. I said, channel your emotions during the holiday season. Don't let it define your character. So that was a statement there, and I responded. I said, people get way too emotional during the holiday season, either because what they don't have or not able to afford, or showing off what they have. Either way, it brings out emotions. Just be thankful for what you have and show a sense of humility. My mantra is to keep it simple and stay humble. It's not that serious. It's nothing but a commercialized day for you to spend money. Have have you ever been emotional around the holidays? That was my question. And what was the cause of it and how did you solve it? So it's statements like that. And I wanted to, then I wanted to respond and go deeper about what I meant by the statement, because I feel like during the holiday season, people just go overboard, especially in the day and age of social media. Everybody doesn't have to know all your presents under the tree, or sort of like you bragging, because there are some people that wish they had stuff or they're suffering. So back in the days, no one knew. You would just tell them by word of mouth, but now everybody has to showcase everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that the holidays are not a happy time for everybody,
Hmm.
for any number of reasons, and I think that's, with the invention of all the social media, I think there's a tendency to, dress our lives up and just, there's nothing wrong with having a good life, and there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with getting everything you want from Santa Claus, on Christmas. But I think it's also important to keep in mind, it's okay not to show everything, and it's also keep in mind that not everybody um, is having a good time.
Yeah.
And in a way, not showing everything is showing mercy to someone else.
Hmm.
You know.
And then you got to also think that a lot of times people have lost significant family members during that time, and things are not the same. And that doesn't mean for other people not to be happy. Of course you want to enjoy it, but I just think people should just tone it down a little bit, and it's not for everybody to see everything that you have.
Okay. Are there any other scenarios in the book, like maybe one or two more that you think would be significant for the audience to
Like
learn?
here's one. I was talking about change. I said change is something we always have to live with. What indicators do you use to make changes in your life? So I went on to say nothing stays the same forever. Even though some people will hold on to certain things for as long as they can, eventually one day you'll come to your senses and may feel like your lack of comfort hits you and you need to do something about it. For example, I remember being in a toxic relationship when I was younger and my life was spiraling out of control. I stopped caring about things that I was passionate about before, such as staying physically fit and my job, just to name a couple of things. And I said, what are some uncomfortable situations that cause you to make changes?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
then they reflect on it, and, you start thinking about it, because again, people don't like to make change. They're uncomfortable. They like to be set in their ways. But sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And in those cases, you have to make changes, whether finances, education wise, your like family dynamics, that things may not be going right. So you have to do things different, and come up with a different game plan.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's applicable to all, pretty much every avenue in life. I just I just recorded a video about a week and a half ago about. Did you hear about that kid in Boston who committed suicide because uh, his girl, he was in some kind of toxic thing with his girlfriend, and he threw himself off of a parking garage, and the woman was charged with manslaughter. Did you hear about that?
I think I seen it, but I don't think I clicked on it, because there's so much going on, and I'm like, is it amazes me. Like you go through and you see stuff and you're like, wow. And I think I probably meant to go back to it, but I never followed up on it.
Okay. Well, I decided to make a video about that because, someone on Twitter, the story got posted on Twitter, and then someone underneath basically made a snide remark about the kid,
Uh-huh.
saying he was soft and saying that, he was very easily impressionable, and he wasn't going to make it in society anyway. And so it occurred to me that, sometimes we get into relationships and we get comfortable, even in the dysfunction,
Hmm.
and you can stay in something because you're comfortable, or maybe because you love the other person that much and you don't know to take care of yourself first. But in some instances, there's a level of comfort there, which is why people stay, even in the worst conditions.
That's true. It's true. So, and I think like, that has a lot to do with like that statement I made, and those are the type of things that I would hope people would take the time to reflect on. And I know in this day and age also that a lot of times people use social media, whether it's Instagram, on Facebook, and they go on and make comments. But when I thought about this book, I think it's a for your private thoughts. So you can write stuff down, and then you can always go back to it and kind of reflect on it. So that's what I kind of had in mind, sort of like a journal, a diary, or something.
Okay, so there's definitely it sounds like there's a reflection, should I say, an inner reflection piece
Yeah.
in this book.
Hmm.
Okay. Do you want to give us
All right.
one more that you think is noteworthy?
Here's one. I said, when you begin to step out the box and grow, you realize how many people secretly dislike you. And I said, some people have the tendency to want people to stay at the same level as them. But once you decide to step out your comfort zone and be different, you'll notice many of your friendships or family relationships will change. No likes or comments on social media, refusal to support your brand, and just overall avoidance. Have you ever experienced this behavior in your life where you were going through growth and change and certain people turned their back on you because you were doing better?
Okay.
So so yeah, even like with that, like a lot of people go through that when you showing growth and change, and people are not ready to do that themselves. Then they kind of act funny toward you. They distance themselves from you, but you just got to keep pushing forward, and hopefully sooner or later they'll turn around and accept it, or they'll shy away, and it'll just distance your relationship, no
Yeah.
matter who it is.
What's funny is that you mentioned the holidays first, and you definitely see this type of thing during the holidays when you're meeting up with your family and you guys are all sitting around eating, and the differences in lifestyle just kind of bubble to the surface, and the things you talk about, in the ways you relate to each other. You really see that around this time of year when everybody gets together.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot
um,
comes out. A lot comes
a
out during
lot,
those times.
a lot comes out, and I was just thinking, I think I'm gonna make a video on my channel here, just warning everybody. In today's political climate, be careful around the dinner table talking about some of the stuff, because yeah, furniture can get thrown and shoes can get thrown, and people, I'm serious, man. Relatives, yeah, will over political affiliations and political philosophies. It can get serious.
Hmm.
It can get serious, you know, when there are differences in income. You might have one set of beliefs here, and Uncle JJ, might have a different set of beliefs here, and before you know it, oh, you think you're better than us. Oh,
Yeah.
you sound condescending. you've forgotten where you come from, or you know what, I don't want to hang around them no more. They're too ratchet, you know. So it's very interesting um, what happens.
It reminded me of when you said about the dinner table and having dinner. Remind me of what the great Dave Ramsey has said before about Thanksgiving time. He said suddenly Thanksgiving dinner doesn't taste the same when your family members owe you money and you're sitting there and you're like, man, they're talking about all this stuff that they got. They owe me this money and they never mention it. So suddenly that meal isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to be careful about loaning relatives money and having that go on and on and on. And then with the social media piece that you mentioned, that happens too, where you'll spot somebody some cash, and then next thing you know, you see them on Facebook. I think someone I went to college with said, I loan this person some money, and then they're steady studying on Facebook.
hmm On vacation in the island somewhere and they owe you a short and you like, wow, like, okay, I guess they're not going to pay me. And then some people view that as like total disrespect.
Yeah, yeah. People fall out over stuff like that. I know I listen to my aunts and uncles talk, and there were all kinds of things that went on between them and one particular uncle, and yeah, those things happen.
hmm
Okay,
So,
so yeah, so it sounds like you cover a lot in that book. The comfort, the getting comfortable piece is big. Whether it's in relationships or at your job, or deciding you want to leave your job, or deciding you just want a better lifestyle for yourself. It sounds like you've covered a lot of powerful stuff in No Friday Foolishness.
yeah, and for whatever reason, I've been sticking with the same themes as cocktail conversation as far as the chapters with relationships, family, child drama, health, education, work, friendships, loyalty, mistrust in the dating game. So I kind of always have those is always my like themes of stuff that I write about.
Okay, David, I'm going to ask you one more thing about the book, because I know sometimes you post on this, and this for any viewers, this could be a sensitive one. But do you say anything about religion or spirituality in No Friday Foolishness? I know sometimes you post about that
Yeah,
in the
I don't
Black church, or
I don't think I got into that
okay,
in the book. But like you said, I might talk about that. Like if it's a build up to a show. I don't know. Me and Herbert had did one recently talking about finances in the black church and just the overall mindset of the church. And then I'll post stuff weekly about that. But I don't think I really touched on that in the No Friday Foolishness.
yeah, that's a pretty radioactive topic right now. The Black church, and what it's historically what it's been and what it's turned into, and whether or not it's serving the best interests of its people. So that's a pretty radioactive topic right now.
Yeah.
Okay, where can viewers purchase No Friday Christmas?
Right now, it's on Amazon. I know, like the Kindle version, supposed to go live on Friday. I may have to do something to kind of update it to make sure the actual paperback, because I just got the proof from the paperback a couple of days ago. But mainly, I prefer, like I always say, being a self-publisher, I prefer people to get it from me. That way, you're going to get the authors, me signing it, and Amazon and all those places, they're doing well. They're doing well.
Mhm.
So I prefer people to just hit me up on social media. David Lorenzo Glover, inbox me, and then I'll get a copy out probably in a day or so with it signed. Now I'm just getting my first book that's coming in. I just checked the status a little while ago, and it said it's being shipped. So that first package of books will be delivered hopefully probably in the next couple days, and then it's one of those print on demand things. As more people demand it, I'll buy another bulk and then just sell them. It's like what's his name, Masterpiece, selling them out his trunk.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, do you have time for a few more questions? A few.
Yeah.
This interview will be continued in part two of my discussion with David Lorenzo Glover, the controversial counselor, regarding his latest book, No Friday Foolishness. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel.